Hey y'all, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to the third episode of my half marathon series. As we are getting farther into this crazy training that I'm doing for this half marathon coming up that I'm running at the end of April, crossing our fingers hopefully because of all the coronavirus stuff, but we are getting closer and closer to the date. I'm now on week 7 of my training, and things are going good. We've stumbled into some injuries, well, not injuries, just some missteps on things. So we are working through those things. We are working through the challenges that we have right now with the gym being closed, and having to get a little creative with how we do cross training and things like that. I'm very, very excited though, because today we are talking about probably the biggest thing that goes into running for me, and that is how to hydrate properly. I hydrate like a freak, and I'm not saying this in a weird way. I have a condition where if my body is not at a certain temperature, cool-wise, I get very, very severe migraines. And when I say very severe migraines, I mean like I will lose sight. It'll go like black and white grain, like how you see on an old TV kind of. And that'll happen. One or both of my arms will go numb. Like I'm out for 8 hours and I'll be throwing up. Like it is not fun at all, as you can probably imagine. So I have to hydrate a little extra when it comes to getting ready to run. So hydrating is not going to be God, I hope it's not going to be as severe for y'all as it is for me. But for example, if I just want to go run 3 miles, I probably have to drink anywhere from, I typically drink 5 water bottles, like decent size. And when I say decent size, I mean like this is the water bottle that I drink out of every day, my wellness bottle. And I drink about 5 of these to run just 3 miles. So imagine what I have to drink to run a half marathon, which is 13.1. When it comes to running the higher mileages, I do start to hydrate. I don't want to say more, but I want to say a little more than I typically do just on a regular day. So it's a little tricky for me, but today we're not going to go digress into how insane I drink. We're going to talk about hydrating beforehand, before you run, during, and then afterwards, of course, and then dip into a little bit of electrolytes. Electrolytes is something that you hear very commonly with running. It's something that needs to be replaced very, I don't want to say quickly, but it is important for your body to get them back in, and it is important to have those things, because if not, your body is going to suffer a lot. So let's talk about beforehand. Before you run, it is important to get a necessary amount of water. Of course, you know, we've been told our whole lives you need to drink 8 bottles of water every day. That's great. Some people are lucky enough that they don't have to drink an insane amount of water to be able to go out and run, and you are very, very lucky. I would love to shake your hand and have your jeans. Some people have to drink an insane amount of water. I'm sure if you are a experienced runner, you know how much water you have to drink to run the miles that you need to. If you are not, it's kind of something that you need to just listen to your body and be like, okay, I don't feel the greatest. Maybe I need some more water. If you have a headache afterwards, it probably means that you didn't drink enough water. You need to drink more water. And like I said, your body will tell you if you need more water. So for me, it kind of depends on how the mileage is going. If you are doing cross training or strength training, clearly that water intake is going to be a little different. I typically, if I'm just going to go do an hour of cross training or strength training, I drink about 4 bottles of water. That's just my standard. I need to drink at least that to be able to go in and do what I need to do in the gym. But for running, it's a little different. Now, during my run, a lot of people, if you are an experienced runner, you know this. And some people, if this is your first half marathon, whatever kind of race, you will see a good amount of people probably doing this. Some people will run with the belts around their waist with the water bottles in them, or people will have the handheld water bottles. I've done a couple of races with the handheld water bottles. They're just a little annoying to me, but considering I might do it in this race, I don't know yet. But during the race, about every 45 minutes, depending on your pace, they will have a water station, a Gatorade station, some kind of station for you to be able to get some liquids back in you, which is really, really important during your race, because it is, you guys, it's really hard on your body to do 13.1 miles without intaking anything else. So I definitely advise you to use those stations and actually like drink. Like, don't run and drink. Like, stop, walk at a good pace and drink for it, take a couple of swigs and then be done and keep going. Now, after your run, it is just as important to drink water after your race as it is before your race. It is because everything that you sweat out, you still have to put back in you. So it's important, so important to do that, get the right amount of water back into your system, so your body gets back, you don't get further injuries or anything like that. When we talk about electrolytes are really, really important. When we think of electrolytes, what do we think of? We think of Gatorade, we think of Powerade, we think of those things. Now, those are really common for runners to drink. I mean, I drink them. I just take a couple swigs after I run each of my daily runs, just because it helps get those electrolytes back in your system pretty quickly. Now, Gatorade and Powerade aren't the most natural things to drink to get them back into your body. There are other resources you can look into to get those natural electrolytes back. And sometimes in the Gatorade and the Powerade, the electrolytes are a little diluted, but you still get a good amount back into them. I have been drinking Gatorade for years after all of my runs. It is one of the things I take my water bottle and my bottle of Gatorade with me every time I run some sort of distance, just in case I need to get those electrolytes back in me, maybe a little quicker than I would necessarily need to. Let's talk about how much water is appropriate to when you're running. Now, you've always heard, you know, like I said, we've always grown up, we've heard, okay, you need to drink the 8 glasses of water every day. That's great. If you're doing that, I'm doing that. Some people drink more than that. A common rule that I live by is the color of your pee. It might sound really gross, I'm sorry. It is just kind of something that I've always lived by, and it's something that y'all should take into effect as well and kind of think about. Your pee color, if it is really dark or really bright, you probably need some water. Now, if it is a light yellow, that is when you know you're at a good level of water intake. When it starts to get clear, that's when we know, okay, we've maybe stepped a little far. Because that means that our body is working really, really hard to process this water. Now, I've made the mistake. I do it sometimes quite frequently. It doesn't do anything terrifying to your body that you're like, oh, okay. It's just your body is working a little too hard to get that stuff through. And so if your pee is that light yellow, you're at a really, really good place, which is where I suggest everybody be and take the proper amount of water. There are a ton of products out there to help replenish your electrolytes. I want to hear what y'all use because I'm curious. Besides Gatorade and Powerade, that's just what I've grown up using. But I'm curious if y'all use any tablets, what natural things you use, what you use to help replenish those electrolytes. I'm really curious about all of that. And comment down below, like, I want to hear what y'all are doing in your running journeys right now, how everything is going. as we're getting closer. I'm getting higher up in mileage. So we're getting into the depths of it. It's getting pretty heavy here. Crossing my fingers still that the race is still going on. But yeah, so stay tuned for next week. Our next episode will be the best gear for running. In this one, I'm going to talk about kind of my physical therapy tools that I use. I don't want to say physical therapy, but my tools that I use for stretching, rolling out my muscles and everything like that. And we'll talk a little bit about my shoes, my orthotics, stuff like that. Stuff to keep your shoes smelling not like awful. And just the best gear for running that I have accumulated, and stuff that you know, that I've learned over the years of stuff that I should use. So if you missed episode 1, my top 3 tips, and then episode 2, which is my training plan, my mileage, and my strength training, those will both be linked down below, so you can go watch those and get caught up. But seriously, I want to hear from y'all. I'm really interested in what is going on with y'all. If you're runners, if you're new, what your thoughts are. I want to hear all of them. So please give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe down below, join this awesome family, and I will see you guys back here next time. Bye y'all.